Ever gotten a letter so ridiculous you couldn't tell if it was a prank, a threat, or just some bored bureaucrat's idea of fun? Well, how about a gold-foiled envelope, hand-delivered to your porch, announcing, in actual calligraphy, mind you, that you, a grown adult, are now required to stay inside your own house for the next 72 hours because some HOA next door wants to impress their international guests? Yeah, that's how my week started. Welcome to Silverbrook Reserve, where delusions of grandeur come wrapped in gold leaf and a little bit of crazy. The whole thing landed while I was out back, sweating over the last bolts on my solar rack, the sun barely up, hands grimy, brain set to practical, when Jess, my wife, strolls out holding this envelope between two fingers like a used diaper. "You gotta see this crap," she says, waving it at me. The thing's heavy, addressed to me, and stamped with a seal so pompous I almost laughed. Silverbrook Reserve Executive HOA Council. Fancy name for people I've never met. Here's the kicker. We don't even live in Silverbrook. Not technically. Our 4 acres just happen to touch their manicured borders. But my driveway points away from their little kingdom. Our well is deep, our solar off-grid, our mailbox painted whatever color Jess decided that year. I opened the letter, feeling the weight of nonsense, and read aloud in my best mock royalty voice. Due to the arrival of high-profile international guests, you are required to remain within the boundaries of your home for a period of 72 hours beginning Friday. Signed by one Karen Satterfield. President. I kid you not. I nearly snorted coffee out my nose. Jess just shook her head. Did we get sucked into their HOA without knowing it? Nope. Check that twice before buying. We are specifically excluded. That's the only reason I wanted this plot. No one telling me what color mailbox to paint or what flag I can fly. Yet here we are, apparently on lockdown because Karen got her hands on some gold embossed stationery. We tried calling a number at the bottom. No answer. Just a voicemail that sounded like it was recorded in a wine cellar, all about community standards and exclusive living. I left a message. What kind of dictatorship are you running? 2 hours later, I get an email. Same garbage as the letter, plus a shiny PDF map. My property traced in like I was Poland in 1939. Just absorbed. Jess leans over my shoulder, squints. Are they allowed to do that? They're allowed to hallucinate, apparently. "So what we do Friday?" she asks. I tell her, same thing as always. Pack up, go to Wildwood, let the kids swim, try not to burn hot dogs. If the HOA wants to try and stop us, well, good luck to them. And I figured that'd be the end of it. A bunch of bored suburban monarchs flexing for their own amusement. But you know that gut feeling when something's about to get weird? That letter just gnawed at me. Friday dawns. The air's perfect, breeze cool, sky high and open. Kids are wrangled into the back seat, fighting over window control. Jess rides shotgun, picnic cooler packed. I hit the garage door opener, slow, dramatic reveal, and there it is. Black SUV, not a cop, not county, just a menacing chunk of shiny metal parked sideways across my driveway. 2 guys in navy polos, silver shield patches on the sleeves. Silverbrook Reserve Enforcement Division. Not law enforcement, but looking to play the part. 1. Buzz cut, sunglasses, the type who probably polishes his boots every morning, steps up with a clipboard. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to remain at your residence for the next 72 hours. Jess leans over, not having it. "Excuse me." Buzzcut's partner, arms crossed, tries to look like he's seen a cartel movie. "It's for your safety, ma'am." I laugh. "You're blocking my driveway. Not keeping anyone safe. This is a controlled perimeter," he says, polite like a snake oil salesman. "No, this is my land." I snap back. "That gravel? Mine. That culvert? Mine. That pine tree you're leaning on? Still mine." Jess goes to get out of the truck. Bad move. His partner rushes, puts a hand out like he's directing traffic, then actually reaches for the door handle. Wrong answer. The thing about having a few years of self-defense and a low tolerance for strangers touching my wife. Let's just say I was out of the truck before the guy could blink. Twisted his wrist, turned him sideways, put him on the ground. Not hurt, just shocked. Buzzcut lunges, but I plant him right beside his buddy with an elbow to the chest. "You two are lucky I'm in a good mood." Jess dials 911. I pull out my phone and start filming. Camera steady, voice calmer than I feel. "We're calling the sheriff," Jess announces. Buzz cut, dusting off his dignity, tries to posture. "You assaulted security personnel." "Nope," I reply. "I defended my wife on my own property from a pair of rent-a-cops who can't read a deed." He doesn't argue. Maybe he sees the look in my eyes. Or maybe he's just stalling for backup. The kids, weirdly, are quiet, just wide-eyed, watching through the back window. 15 minutes later, the sheriff's cruiser rolls up, slow and easy. Deputy McNeil climbing out, looking like he's about to referee a pie-eating contest instead of a land dispute. He listens while I lay it all out, letter, email, map, footage, every inch of absurdity. He glances at the HOA goons, then back at me. "Mr. Langston, I get that you're upset." "Not upset," I say. "Pissed." He almost smiles. "Look, HOA's got some high-profile visitors. Everyone's been told to keep it calm. You want me to lock my family in the house for 72 hours so some rich folks don't see my pickup? You out of your mind." He shrugs, shifting the discomfort to me like a hot potato. "Just asking for cooperation." Cooperation ended when they tried to detain my wife. "I want a report, incident number, names." He takes notes, slow, resigned. As soon as they're gone, SUV and all, we drive out, still rattled but determined not to cede an inch. But that feeling in my gut, that itch that says something's not right, it just won't quit. That night, I call Marcus. Not a lawyer, but close enough. Used to do property law, now lives off-grid by choice. Keeps court records the way most people keep recipes. "They're screwing with the land registry," he says. Turns out Silverbrook filed plans for expansion. Guess whose lot is marked as tentatively participating? Mine. They're pitching my land as part of their next phase to investors, county officials, maybe even overseas buyers, without my signature, without my consent. He emails the filings. There it is. Silverbrook Reserve Phase 2, expanded luxury lots mapped right over my living room. Existing modular home available for demonstration purposes. That's right, my house, my kids' playground, my everything, now a prop in their little show. I don't sleep that night. I document everything, photos, video, letters, emails, time-stamped and sorted. Then I call Tina, a reporter I met at a sustainability fair. She loves stories like this. HOA horror, local corruption. I spill it all at a diner, hands shaking, heart thumping. "They tried to quarantine you for real estate optics?" she asks, incredulous. "And now your property's in a prospectus you never saw?" "Yep," I reply. She promises to go big, and she does. But I don't wait. I post my own video, when an HOA thinks they own you. I lay it all out, facts, footage, map, the works. By Sunday, it's everywhere. People start sharing stories. Nevada, Florida, Texas. HOAs finding folks for yards, paint colors, fence heights. But then, a twist. An anonymous email from someone who used to sit on Silverbrook's board. "You're not crazy. Looking to Phase 1, Lot 14. I do, and it's the same game, a pattern of bullying and absorption. Monday, a photocopied flyer appears in my mailbox. Community safety or radicalism? It accuses me of endangering property values, undermining harmony, even warns that our guests see you, Mr. Langston. Subtle as a brick. My neighbors start calling. They got the same letter, same threats. Some even had enforcement visits encouraging them to align with community standards. One guy, Derek, says he was warned noncompliance could affect future zoning accommodations. That's when I realize it's not just me thereafter. It's anyone who won't play along. Then comes the drone. Midday, I hear the buzzing, sleek, black, hovering over my corn patch, camera glinting. Not a hobbyist toy. I record it, jam the signal, illegal, maybe, but who cares? Watch it crash, bag the wreckage, take it to the sheriff. That afternoon, Susan down the road finds a hidden camera near her shed, and another neighbor sees a white sedan parked outside for hours. This is intimidation, plain and simple. That night, another compliance card appears in my mailbox. No envelope, just a business card. "Let's talk." "Sure." Over my dead body. Jess and I don't sleep. I compile everything. Footage, names, timestamps. By morning, my war book is thick enough to scare a prosecutor. But I know I need firepower, so I call Carla Ortega, the HOA hammer. Ex-military, property law, takes no prisoners. I dump the evidence in her office. She doesn't blink. This is organized coercion, she mutters. Once we prove they filed those docs, they're toast. She files cease and desist orders, then launches a class action with 8 neighbors. Claims criminal trespass, harassment, fraud, you name it. Carla doesn't mince words. Meanwhile, Tina's article hits. When the HOA thinks it's God, a landowner's fight against suburban tyranny. It spreads like wildfire. Neighbors rally, Facebook groups explode, whistleblowers crawl out of the woodwork. One anonymous email brings a PDF. My name, my parcel flagged as pre-negotiated acquisition for Phase 2. I send it to Carla. We own them now, she texts. Silverbrook tries to spin it. Official statements, community liaisons, all that harmony jazz. But I have video. I have proof. I post again. It goes viral, even landing on an HOA horror subreddit. Then the bomb drops. Judge grants us an injunction. Silverbrook is forbidden from messing with any property outside its real boundaries. Emails are order preserved. News crews show up. People bring pie like I'm some war hero. Even old Joe brings me a hand-painted sign. Private land, not yours. Not ever. And then, the twist in the twist. Carla calls. Someone flipped. Aubrey, ex-paralegal for the HOA, wants protection. She brings emails, memos, group chats. Karen, Queen Bee, knew my land wasn't eligible for expansion. They call me a visibility risk and my family a narrative blemish. Their plan, silent integration. Fake community, fake compliance, real intimidation. Aubrey's evidence is ironclad. I post redacted logs. Comments pour in. Stories from Arizona, Florida, New York. HOAs threatening people for ladders, for ramps, for kids' bikes. The county prosecutor subpoenas Silverbrook's records. Karen doubles down, sends 3 suits to stand on my property line and glare. I sip coffee on my porch, shotgun across my lap, smile for their phone cameras. Later that day, sheriff's cruisers roll into the HOA office, box up files, computers. That evening, Karen herself is perp walked out in heels and sunglasses, charged with fraud, harassment, and about a dozen other crimes. Jess pops champagne. The group chat goes wild. Over the next 3 weeks, Silverbrook's empire crumbles. Board members resign en masse. The state oversight board steps in. Zoning permits are revoked. That grand expansion, with my house as the show home, dead in the water. Investors flee. Aubrey gets whistleblower protection. I take long walks around my land, breathe air that suddenly feels lighter. Not just because I won, but because the truth is finally standing tall like an old oak that weathered every storm. I put up a new fence, heavy steel, motion sensors, a sign. This is not HOA. Never was. Come back and see what happens. Jess rolls her eyes, but she's smiling. We throw a cookout. No speeches, no inspectors, just neighbors, new friends, laughter. My inbox overflows with people from across the country asking how to fight back. I start writing a guide. Nothing fancy, just the basics. Your rights, their tricks, what to watch for. A week after the final injunction, I get an official letter. My land is permanently exempt from all future HOA annexation. I pin it next to my daughter's crayon note. Daddy won. Bad neighbors gone. That's the only trophy I need. You know, there's something I learned through all this. Power doesn't need to be loud or obvious to be dangerous. Sometimes it's quiet, dressed up in gold leaf and fake authority, sneaking in the back door of your life. Sometimes it looks like a neighbor with a clipboard, a drone overhead, a letter full of legalese. And sometimes it needs someone willing to say, no, not here. That's not bravery. It's just knowing where your line is and refusing to let anyone redraw it for you. So now I ask you, where do you draw your line? When does community turn into control? Is it a fence, a letter, a drone? Or is it something quieter, a principle you refuse to compromise? Drop a comment below. Tell me your story about the time you pushed back, or maybe the time you wish you had. Where does justice end and revenge begin? Who gets to decide? Because at the end of the day, all that matters is this: your land, your rights, your story. Don't let anyone take that from you. Not even the queen of the HOA.